Hello, today is February 6, 2019, and the time is 1:39 p.m. Just want to do a real quick video, not as long as the last one. I wanted to discuss two things here. The first thing I'd like to discuss is about a year or so ago, I became in contact with a former officer in another province, and he, through his research and his experience, stated at least 50% of the people who are convicted are innocent. Non-specific to what type of alleged crimes, but I guess just generally speaking. So at least 50%, which in itself is extremely disturbing. Now, the question can be, why aren't the at least 50% of the people standing up for, their innocence, proclaiming their innocence and fighting it? There's several parts to this. The first part could be people not knowing their rights. They know they got screwed over. Maybe they don't know how or why. They don't know the law. The other factor could also be the cost. Another example could be because a lot of people just want to get on with their lives. But what's more likely in most cases like that is based on the study of Dr. Julia Shaw, implanting false memories. And she shows through her studies how easy it is to convince people that, in her examples, how easy it is to convince people that they've committed a crime. Very fascinating research and observation on how easy that is. So chances are, especially coming from an authority, people will tend to accept, well, maybe I am guilty. Very possible. And that's what I think is much more common, where people are convinced, and this not only comes to people being wrongfully convicted. You can see this across the board on almost every social issue, where people are convinced that their feelings are hurt, that something is offensive, or the villainization, for example, of males, white people, whatever. It's very easy to convince people on pretty much anything. It's very disturbing that at least 50%. Now, there are some people like myself who are determined and who have a knowledge base in law, who understands the system where things go wrong, understands their own case. And the fact that I've never really had an opportunity to trust any of the four lawyers that I've had because of my knowledge base and the evidence supporting my innocence, which is nice to review every so often, just to remind myself, yeah, this whole thing went sideways and this is how. So I guess another part is that encompasses everything is people divert the responsibility of proclaiming their innocence and proving their innocence and say, well, I have a lawyer to do all that. And if the lawyer, for example, being human, thinks that you're guilty right off the top or whatever, or maybe even trying to protect, they have some sort of bias, we'll just say, then yeah, you're trusting the wrong people. So that's the first thing I want to quickly mention. The second thing I want to talk about is the female. Now, if anyone is thinking, well, she feels sorry for her, I guess I want to say, whether it has anything to do with me or maybe something in her life, who knows. But I just want to share something that I don't know if any of the so-called professionals that she's been dealing with throughout her life with this case knows about. But her abuse towards small animals. And I remember her telling me a story, and I'm not going to get into the graphic details because it's disgusting. But I learned all this long before the December of 2012 false allegation and everything that transpired. So I learned this before, which I never really liked her to begin with, but I'm not going to get into that. But I just remember her telling me one particular story of the hamster, and she was saying how one of the hamster's eyes fell out. She doesn't know how, and anyway, eventually the hamster died. This is the type of person this female is. And you compound that with her accusing other men before me, my being a co-accused somehow in December of 2012 because a male colleague was also being investigated at the time. I don't know whatever happened with that investigation or anything else, but anyway, this is a type of person that I was dealing with over time. And the crazy part is, whether the police or these other professionals and profilers and all these other people knew it or not, they still sided with her and had sympathy for her and villainized me, which is just mind-numbing. Anyway, that's all I want to say about the female. Now, I have maybe a little bonus thing that I want to share here, and I'm really contemplating if I should share this online or what I'm going to do. I have no idea of what direction I'm going to take this. But last month, in January of 2019, the Supreme Court of Canada had written me a letter and sent me a whole package.
In July of 2016, the Supreme Court put Canada on notice. The justice system had lost its way, noting a pervasive culture of complacency throughout. The precedent-setting Jordan decision immediately set strict time limits on trying criminal cases, concluding timely trials are important, reaffirming that justice delayed is justice denied. But more than 2 years later, some judges say little has changed for the better.
So this kind of has me now thinking maybe I should. That's all I'm going to say about that. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share, and make it a great day for yourself.